So as you guys know, the highly anticipated Georgia versus Florida game is going on today, and man, should this be a great game. Now, of course, Georgia is number one in the nation. I'm going to get more into that later. Florida is unranked for the first time in a pretty long time, so a lot of people are expecting this to be a blowout. However, I really predict that this could probably be a little bit of a closer game than many people think. I know that Georgia is number one and Florida is unranked, and Florida looks terrible this year. However, I do think Florida has a small chance of giving Georgia a run for their money. But of course, before I get into this video / prediction, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on that notification bell, help me out a little bit. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, we're going to start off with Georgia. Now, Georgia is coming off a much-needed bye week, still undefeated, and before the bye week, they beat Kentucky 30-13. They are undefeated, currently the number one team in the nation, as I said earlier in this video. But the biggest question coming into this week, the biggest question is who's going to start at quarterback. JT Daniels is reported to be okay and perfectly healthy, seemingly. However, Stetson Bennett is a finalist for the best quarterback in college football reward. Now, of course, Stetson Bennett, his stats for this year have been nothing short of amazing. 57 for 82, 996 yards, 11 touchdowns on only a measly 2 interceptions. JT Daniels, on the other hand, 54 for 71. 567 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, of course, there was an announcement that Stetson Bennett will start and JT Daniels will be the second string for today. He's still listed as a day today. I'm going to get more into the injury report later. However, it's kind of surprising. Stetson Bennett did not perform too well against Florida's defense last year. However, I'm looking for him to gain some redemption. I'm looking for him to still be the amazing quarterback he's been for the entire year this season. Now, of course, if Stetson Bennett happens to struggle, I'm pretty sure JT Daniels will come in. However, the news is that JT Daniels is going to be second string for this game. At least that's the news I've received. However, I would personally start JT Daniels. Now, of course, Georgia also has the best defense in college football, and man, does this put a smile on my face. They are only allowing 6.6 points per game. Georgia is absolutely insane when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. They have been great all year, from their defensive line all the way to the DBs. I'm really glad Georgia's really stepped it up on the defense this year. Of course, their defense is really good every year, to be honest, but this year is definitely special as far as Georgia's concerned on the defensive side of the ball. Now, of course, Georgia also has one of the better offenses, which could be really low-key, and their offense can be really overlooked as a result of their defense, which is the best in college football, and potentially one of the best in college football history. But Georgia's offense averages 38 points scored per game. It's one of the best offenses in all of college football. And, of course, we have to get into the main thing that runs Georgia's offense. While the passing game has been really good, the rushing game has been something totally different. Georgia's rushing game has ran for 1,349 yards this season as an entire team. And speaking of standouts, of course, going out of the rushing game and more into the passing game, Brock Bowers has been great this season. He's standing out tremendously. He is a freshman leading his team in receiving yards, and we're going to go to the guy who's second in receiving yards on our team, Lag McConkey. He's been absolutely amazing. He's second on the team in receiving. These two guys have definitely stepped up. Two guys who weren't even on the team much last year. Two guys that were really overlooked until, of course, Brock Bowers had to come in for an injured Darnell Washington. Of course, Lag McConkey came to Georgia. Man, both of those guys have really stepped up, and they are 1 and 2 in receiving yards on our team. Now, once again, as I cannot stress this enough, the only thing that looks like it can stop Georgia this year is pure injuries. Man, oh man, it hasn't been tough for the injuries this year. Now, of course, going through the injury report, JT Daniels has a lat issue. He is a day-to-day. Of course, Kendall Milton did injure his knee. He's out. George Pickens is out, although he can return in the next upcoming week, so watch out for George Pickens. Dominic Blaylock, who's seemingly been nowhere, I don't know where Dominic Blaylock has been. A lot of people have been saying he was coming back last week before. He hasn't been coming back. He is questionable with a hamstring issue. Tate Ratledge, he is out with a foot issue. Tyke Smith, of course, out with that torn ACL. Prayers up for him. And, of course, Ryan Davis, a quad issue. He is also out for this game. Now, of course, moving on, we need to go to the Florida Gators. And the Gators are coming off a bye week in which they lost to LSU, which could be called a thriller. That LSU running back ran for, 284 yards or something like that. He went absolutely crazy. He actually broke an LSU record, fun fact. However, Florida is unranked after their loss to LSU, and they might not get back ranked unless they get a couple of huge wins into the stretch of the season. It's kind of ridiculous. This team started off competing with Alabama. This team was competing with Alabama earlier in the season. They lost to Alabama by only 2 points, and be unranked, that's just kind of unheard of for me. I mean, to be competing with Alabama, at the level they were competing, man, it's just tough to really see how this team is unranked now. Now, of course, this team also has a ton, and I mean a ton, of quarterback questions. Now, while it looks like Emory Jones is going to be the clear starter, Anthony Richardson played pretty good against LSU. I mean, despite 2 interceptions, he went 10 for 19 for 167 and 3 passing touchdowns that game, a game in which Emory Jones was actually benched in favor of Anthony Richardson. So there are a lot of questions to be asked about this quarterback situation that Florida is dealing with. Now, of course, Emory Jones 119 for 176, 1,305 yards for the season. However, 10 touchdowns on 9 interceptions, which is not the world's best ratio for touchdowns and interceptions. Now, of course, Anthony Richardson, 21 for 27, 392 yards, 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions the entire season. Anthony Richardson is looking pretty good, and personally, I think Anthony Richardson will start because I believe Florida's offense is a little bit better with him, and he offers a more broad skill set than Emory Jones. Now, while Emory Jones is a beast of a quarterback, he is a beast when it comes to the running game and even the passing game. He's shown flashes of very, very talented quarterback. I think Anthony Richardson just provides more for this offense as of right now. Now, Florida's defense, they've really struggled during the season. It's really uncharacteristic of Florida for their defense to really be struggling like this. They're allowing 21 points per game and nearly 200 rushing yards. Yes, 200 rushing yards allowed per game for Florida's defense, which is super alarming considering Georgia's rushing game has been absolutely dominant within the past couple of weeks. Man, it's been absolutely insane to see Florida's defense just struggle like this. I mean, it's not something you would expect. Now, Florida's offense has been quietly very, very impressive. They score 34 points per game and average over 500 yards per game. They rush for over 250 yards per game, which is 4th in all of college football. Florida has 5 players. Yes, 5 players over 200 rushing yards this season. And really, really ironic, and I guess you can call weird, their top 2 rushers are also their 2 quarterbacks. Yes, Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson are the top 2 rushers on Florida's team. That is definitely something a little out of the ordinary. It's a little unorthodox to have your 2 leading rushers be 2 quarterbacks. However, getting out of that, we have to go to a Florida standout. Jacob Copeland, wide receiver, has been a huge threat for Florida, and Georgia's going to absolutely have to focus and neutralize him during this game. He has 23 catches on the year, 423 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Man, Jacob Copeland has been really, really good, and specifically that LSU game, he played really, really well. I remember seeing him getting reception after reception. They play really, really well. Now, of course, the injury report, I could not find a lot of amazingly, let's just say, very specific injuries for Florida. Now, of course, I know Anthony Richardson had an injury issue over the last couple of weeks. However, I think he's okay as of right now. So if you guys have any Florida injury updates, feel free to drop that in the comments. I just couldn't find any anywhere. I didn't see any significant injuries, at least for Florida. However, if you guys know about significant injuries for Florida football, you guys drop them in the comments. I'll make sure to drop in the comments if I have any updates, but no injuries for Florida as of right now, which is actually really, really good. Florida has seemingly their full strength team with them to go against the number 1 team in the nation. Now, for my score prediction, I have Georgia winning this game 41-14. Now, I said that Florida could keep this game close, and I believe throughout the first quarter, it'll be sort of like that. I feel like it'll be a feeling out process for both teams. I think the first quarter will end maybe like 14-7, 7-7. It'll be close, but I think Georgia eventually, going through the second quarter and the second half, pull away from Florida, and I do think Georgia will frankly dominate this game no matter who starts at the quarterback position. But, of course, that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. Of course, links in bio, TikTok, Spotify, Instagram. All those links are in the description. I would really appreciate if you could follow all those for me. But either way, whether you follow or not, I wish that you stay loved and stay blessed. And without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.